let's talk about brooding. And a lot of farmers have this challenge. And one thing about poultry farm is that if you get the brooding stage right, your birds will perform excellently well, be it broilers or layers. A lot of farmers complain about brooding. It's either they have high mortality or they are faced with diseases which cause these birds not to meet up the maximum production. And in this video, I'm going to explain what you are to do during brooding of your chicks to avoid mortality. Any mortality that exceeds 5% during brooding, that means you are already running at loss. Please, if this is your first time of coming across my video, kindly help me to grow my channel by clicking the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Don't hesitate to give this video a like and share for others to benefit. Brooding actually is the first 3 to 4 weeks of your chick's life and is the most critical stage. What you do here determines if they will grow strong or die off. Many farmers lose their profit during brooding because they ignore small but important things. Now, I will go step by step so that you can understand what to do during brooding to avoid mortality, most especially in broilers. The first step is prepare before the chicks arrive. Before you even bring your chicks home, you have to prepare their house like you are preparing a baby's nursery. The first thing is to clean and disinfect properly. Wash the brooding room, feeders and drinkers with soap and water. Now, after you've washed these things with soap and water, you rinse them. Then you now disinfect with some substance like Azai, Dettol, or Vecon. There are so many products, different disinfectants that you can use. In the absence of all these, and you can also use iodine or a higher concentration of salt solution in water. This is also an economical way of disinfecting and it is very, very effective. Another thing that you should do is that once you have done this disinfection, you have to leave it closed for like 2 to 3 days in order to kill the germs that are inside. Now, let me give you one very important point that you should know, that day-old chicks are like newborn babies. Their immune system is very weak. Even small germs can kill them. So you have to follow these 3 processes that I said, that I have listed. One is that you wash all the rooms with soap and water before you now start disinfection. It's not that the place is dirty, then you now wash with disinfectant. No, this is a wrong approach. What you need to do is to wash the pen and the drinkers, the feeders with soap and water, rinse them thoroughly. After rinsing, before you now mix your disinfectant with water and use to wash again. Then you now leave the pen closed for like 2 to 3 days so that the germs can die off. Number 2 is to heat the brooding house. What you just need to do at this step is to turn on your heat source. It could be charcoal pot, it could be gas brooder, it could be electric bulb or whatsoever heat source that you are using. And this should be like 6 to 8 hours before the chicks arrive. And the temperature should be between 32 to 35 degrees. That is about 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit when the chicks arrive. The reason why you are doing this is that if the place is cold, the chicks will get chilled. They will crowd together and they will suffocate. That's one of the top killers during brooding. Number 3 is to set up your brooder ring. This is actually not really necessary for brooder. So if you don't have brooder ring, there is no need. But the essence of using the brooder ring is that the edges or the angle 90s, to prevent those angle 90s. So instead of the chicks clustering to that angle 90, they will now just be going around the brooder house, and it's kind of also enable the heat to circulate around. So if you don't have brooder ring, there is no problem, you can do your brooding. But if you want to use brooder ring, you can use cardboard, you can use zinc sheets, you can use old feed bags to make a kind of circular wall around the heat source. So one ring can hold like 50 to 100 chicks depending on the space that you have. Then you have to cover the floor with wood shavings, maybe about 2 inches thick. Some persons use sawdust, some persons use wood shavings. The difference between sawdust and wood shavings is that sawdust have kind of finer particles, while the wood shavings has larger particles, and the sawdust, they are more dusty than the wood shavings. But whatever ones that you have, you can use. In the absence of sawdust or wood shavings, you can also use old newspaper to place on the floor. Don't use nylon, cellophane, or what, anything that cannot absorb moisture. Like I said, the ring helps to keep the sheep close to the heat. Like the essence of this ring brooder, or this brooder ring, is that it helps to keep the chicks close to the heat and the feed, and it prevents them from wandering away and getting lost or chilled. The next step is the day of arrival. Mind you, this is what you are to do before the chicks arrive, so that you will not have mortality. Then the first day of arrival, which is the arrival day, this day decide if you are going to be successful or you are going to fail. First thing you are to do upon arrival is to give them water containing glucose. And to get this, you have to mix 1 tablespoon of glucose and a pinch of salt per 1 liter of water. Some people will just give them glucose, or better still, if you cannot prepare this, then you can get ORS and mix in water for them to drink. 1 sachet in 1 liter of water and put in water. Then another thing that you can also give to them is electrolytes. These electrolytes, you can make it by yourself. It's just a mixture of garlic and honey mixed together, and you give to them. It's very good for them as it keeps them healthy, and you allow them to drink this while there is also feed in the feeders. Mind you, on this day of the arrival, like I said earlier, you have to hit the brooder house. Then you make sure you have positioned your feeders and your drinkers on the ground. Put your feed and put your water for them, so that as soon as you drop them, it's either you are dropping them directly in the feeders or you are dropping them so that they can drink water. Now, why you should give them this is that this drinking first helps them to rehydrate. It helps to rehydrate them. The next step is to check the chick behavior. If you are to check the chick's behavior, this is what you should look out for. If they scatter around the brooder house or the brooder pen, then the heat is okay. But if they crowd under the heat, that means it is too cold. You have to increase the heat source. Then if they move away from the heat, that means it is too hot. So you have to reduce the heat. Then if they cluster in the corners, that means there is too much light, or the kind of air is blowing into the brooder house, which is normally called drought. You must make sure that you always read the chicks' behavior. They will tell you how they feel by how they gather, which is what I just explained now. A lot of people get this wrong. The major thing that will kill your chicks during this brooding period is the temperature. Temperature control plays a very important role during brooding. If you can get this temperature control right, your chicks will be fine and healthy. Then you don't have to leave them. Make sure you spend quality time in the brooder house to observe them very well. At interval of 1 hour, make sure you are checking these chicks and the temperature. Then you have to maintain proper heat, light, and air. Heat, you see, heat, light, and air are like the medicine for healthy chicks. For temperature control, for the first 1 week, the temperature should be between 32 to 35 degrees centigrade. That is if you have a thermometer or an instrument that you can use to measure the temperature. Then the second week, it should be between 29 to 31 degrees centigrade. For the third week, it should be 26 to 28 degrees centigrade. Then the fourth week, it should be 24 to 26 degrees centigrade. You now see that the heat is reducing gradually each week. That is how it will be until eventually you take them off heat source. Then I also talked about ventilation. You must keep fresh air coming in, but no direct wind, because in this case you can use small windows or holes that are covered with wire mesh. This will now serve as a windbreaker for the air that is coming in. The essence of this air coming in is to prevent ammonia buildup also. Let me talk about lighting now. During the brooding phase, I always tell people to give 24 hours light for at least for the first 1 week, so that the chicks can find feed and water at any time. Not all of them are fast eater, not all of them are very smart. You intend to switch off the light by for 1 hour, the ones that are yet to eat will be very weak by the time you on the light again. So I always advise people, for the first 1 week, make sure you give them 24 hours light. Then after the week 2, you can start reducing it to maybe 18 to 20 hours of light. Then another point that is also important that you should take note of is feed and water management. First and foremost, make sure you give them clean waters. You should use clean, cool water. Then you have to change it at intervals. I always advise people concerning water management and medication. I always advise people that you should give your chicks water that they can consume in less than 2 hours, at most 3 hours. The essence is that when you place the water in the brooder house, there is everything, and medication is inside. There is every tendency that the heat will make the water, if the water stays too long, the water will get heat up too. So this will now look like it will denature the medication that you have given. But if you are giving them water that they can consume within 2 to 3 hours, this medicine or this medication is still very active during this process. So it will be very effective for them. Please take this point very important. This is a secret I am sharing with you that works very well. You add vitamins and minerals to their water too, like Vitalite, Aminovite, at any vitamin at all that you can get. So, but try as much as possible to always clean their drinkers on a daily basis. Dirty water will cause diarrhea, and this diarrhea will lead to death. Now, let me talk about the feed quality. You should use good chick starter feed that does not contain mold and smell. Another mistake that a lot of farmers also do that can cause problem for them is heaping up the feed in the tray feeder for these chicks. By the time they defecate on it, it will get soiled, it will get soaked, and they will not want to eat again. So instead, just put a handful and sprinkle on the feed, a very light feed that they can finish within 2 to 3 hours. Feed them little by little and often, and this will also help to reduce feed wastage. Don't allow the feed to get wet or stale. Once you give them good feed, there's every tendency that they will grow strong and they will have good immunity. Then another very important point that will help you is to keep the environment dry and clean. Anything that has to do with wet wood shavings should immediately be removed, especially around the drinkers. You see, when the chicks they drink water, some water will fall off around the drinkers. So most times around the drinkers is always wet. So try as much as possible to always clean that place and avoid water spill. Clean the feeders and drinkers daily. One thing you should know is that wet litter breeds coccidiosis, which is a deadly chick disease that causes blood stool in their dropping. Then the next point is vaccination and the health routine. You must make sure that you follow vaccination program that is conversant in your area. This means that whatever disease that is very conversant within your area, make sure to vaccinate your birds against them. Like the basic or the standard vaccination for this part of Nigeria or West Africa is that the one upon hatchery they are given Marex, and this is done at the hatchery either through injection or through spraying of the birds. Then the day 7 they give them Newcastle disease vaccine, which is normally called Lasota. Then the day 14 they give them Gumboro. Then day 21 they give them Gumboro booster. Then day 28 you give them Newcastle booster. Some persons will start with Gumboro, then they will not give Lasota vaccine, then they will not give Gumboro vaccine again, then they will not give Lasota vaccine. Whichever way that works for you, stick to it. Then there's one important thing that I must not also fail to tell you, that you should always use clean water without chlorine or disinfectant when mixing your vaccine, because if you use this, it's as good as you not giving them vaccines at all, because it will kill the vaccine. Chlorine or disinfectant will denature the vaccine. Another very important point that can help you to have zero mortality is to avoid overcrowding. Make sure to give enough space. For the first week, 50 chicks per meter square is okay. Then by week 4, it should be around 25 chicks per square meter. Too many chicks in small space would cause heat, which will now lead to stress, suffocation, and fast disease spread. Then another point is to handle chicks gently. You should avoid chasing or grabbing them roughly. Stress kills them silently. So when catching your chicks, do it calmly and in dim light. Then you should also watch out for sick chicks very early. So what you have to do in this process, every morning and evening, you have to observe the birds. You should look out for the ones that have droppy heads, look out for the ones that have closed eyes. Then the ones that are not eating or drinking, you should watch out for them. And those that have watery or bloody droppings, or they have pasted vent, whereby the vent is pasted, is sticky, those kind of chicks, you should remove them immediately so that it will prevent the spread of the disease. One thing that you should also do is to keep records. You should write down temperature, death count of if there is any, the feed that you have given, the water consumed, the vaccine given, because this will help you to know what's working and what is not working, so that subsequent time you can guide against them. I believe you've gotten tangible information, but before you go, make sure that you treat your chicks like fragile babies in the first 3 weeks. Give them warmth, give them clean water, give them good feed and care, which is their biggest needs. Then once they pass 3 to 4 weeks and they are strong and active, you've already won half of the battle in broiler farming. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Also, please give this video a like and share for others to benefit. Thanks.